Awesome. So we are recording now, and this is a different kind of a setup than the one we did last time. You know, that last time everybody was pretty much on listen only mode. Today, everyone has the opportunity to actually ask the questions. So Ricardo's going to be here. I asked him to be here. He was just casually here, and we're speaking about
timing is everything.
Timing is everything. So he came in and said, "Hey, why don't you just you know, stick around and many of you probably know that he was the first person who actually, in addition to myself, started using these funnels in the HCI world to fill rooms of people and recruit and obviously get a bunch of clients. And I think his experience and his evolution, what he went through, you guys can relate to maybe some of the confusion and some of the things that you're going to go through until you get the hang of this thing. Because there's obviously different, sorry for being redundant, but certain things that you need to learn and know to be able to master this thing. So thank you very much for being here, Ricardo. I think your experience is going to help us a lot. And he's also going to be, I want to ask you a question. You see that little chat, the chat box? You can open up the chat. And if there's, questions that people have, let's go and answer them. And probably the best way to do it, if you click on the managing participants, you can see everybody's names on there. So you guys that are listening to us, you should be able to raise your hand. We're going to try to make this interactive. We'll probably hit, I don't know, maybe in the next few minutes, we'll probably hit 50, 60 people. So it's kind of hard, sometimes to manage this when there's 70 different microphones that could open at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody's, I just unmuted it.
I'm driving to, I have to tonight.
Let me go mute everybody. And make sure that you mute it. If you're not, participating or asking the questions, make sure that you mute it, so that there is no noises coming through the system. All right, so let's get started. We're going to be here for about an hour and a half, and those of you that want to stay a little bit longer and asking some questions, I'm going to be here to answer all those questions. But we did prepare material to be here for about an hour and a half and touch on the most important things that I believe are the critical things that everybody should know in order to be able to really launch this Plato funnels out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to be able to see what I want to share, of course. So everybody knows, if you are subscribed to Plato, you know that the way to get to it is by logging into your HCI back office. Let me log out and let me log back in as Maurice.
Yeah.
All right. You can hit on the mute. I don't know if you have mute capabilities, but that's just what we go through. Let me mute again. All right, cool. Actually, let me say to mute everybody when they log in. All right, cool. All right. So we log into our HCI back office, and if you are subscribed, if you are a Plato supporter, then you should be able to link right through your Plato dashboard. And most people, if you're logging in for the first time, you're asking yourself, yeah, well, what's the first step? What do I do? How do I activate these funnels, and how do I post them on social media, and how do I drive traffic? So we're going to cover all of that. But I want to begin with the one step that every single one of us should be taking, which is bringing the people that we know into our contacts, into our potential recruits and clients. And I'm talking about people that we know through social media, people that are friends, family. The system always talks about making your list of prospects, right? Step number one is creating a prospect list. Of course, you can't create a prospect list unless you know these people, right? And so many of you, or I should say many of us, if we really put the effort in creating that list, we could probably end up with a few hundred. And so what I would like everyone to do is, at the first thing is go here where it says prospects and contacts. When you click on that option, you can add, and please look at what I'm doing. I want you to go to groups and pages, because you can add, you can bring any list into your, prospects and contacts section just by simply adding a new group. So let's just call this group warm market, right? People that you know. And we're going to treat these people in a different way, right? Because we're not necessarily having to go out to social media either to get them to come through our funnels via free traffic or paid traffic. And so what I'm saying is that we're not necessarily sending them to a funnel. We're going to send them to landing pages that will have information, and it's going to give them a lot of the information that sometimes we can't do over the phone in an effective way. So this stuff is coming this week. We're going to have a bunch of beautiful pages and landing pages that have calls to action that aren't necessarily asking for their name, number, and email again, because you already have that. So bottom line is, you get your warm market, you want to import a CSV file. And if you don't have a sample, you can download the sample here. So you can download it here and then fill it up with the contacts and then import them in. This is why it's so important. It may take a little bit of time in the beginning, but then later, because of the function in the system to be able to send mass email and mass SMS messages, or link an entire group to a specific autoresponder of content and dripping, is going to save you hundreds and maybe thousands of hours of work with a simple click. So when we click on that here, I have a list from all the registered for Plato special offer, right? That's 100 and some users that I can just bring in, and you see it says contact lists imported successfully, which means I have warm market here, which is the group with 111 contacts. Now, if I click on that group, I have them all here. And of course, this is not a complete CRM, but obviously I can open up that list and start filling up more information, comments when I'm following up with the prospect, and just anything that I can add to that lead, right? And this is going to be thing that will, a section that will continue to evolve. I was having an amazing conversation yesterday with the development team and looking at the many ways that we can help you bring people that you have on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and your cell phone, and just with a few clicks bring them all in, and then be able to share with them beautiful, well-crafted landing pages with information that it will initiate those conversations. And you will be able to communicate with them just like this, guys. Check this out. You click on it, means that you want to contact all of them with a simple email. If we already have a like here, we will have a variety of landing pages or drip campaigns that can go to them entirely. Of course, we don't want to be too spammy, but you'll have a lot of options to follow up with them. So of course, you can use a pre-designed template, or you can have a specific message with links, and you can draft this email if you want and send it to them. Or if you have incorporated your Twilio API, you can send them a text message from here. So just think about how much time that saves when you're able to, include the token. And what I mean by that is personalize the email, right? We'll have a list of those tokens so that all you need to do is say hi and then the name. And when you send those 111 contacts, it's going to be personalized. That email is going to be personalized and go out. So for now, my suggestion would be to get that sample file, that that importing file, and then bring those contacts in, because it only takes a second to do that. Any questions on that? I would like to see on the chat. I would like to know if there's any questions on that, Ricardo.
Yeah, I do have a question, but first I gotta make a disclosure. I don't want anyone to assume that by me being here with you, that I'm already mastering this. I want you all to know that I only know very little compared to what Mauricio knows, and yet for me, it has made a tremendous difference. However, as you were explaining that, I think that would be phenomenal for like the drip campaign that you're talking about, or all those names that perhaps did not take action, did not do anything, did not sign up, did not buy anything, but yet you want to still feed them relevant and valued information.
I see what they can't hear you because you have to unmute yourself. Try that.
All right. Can everyone hear me now? Good.
We can hear you.
Let me start over.
Yeah, that's fine. That would be good.
First, I need to disclose something. My disclosure is the following, that I don't want you to assume that by me being here next to Mauricio that I know or that I am a master of doing this, because that's not what it is. I simply know just a little bit, enough for me to implement this, and it has made a tremendous difference in my business. And I only know very little compared to what Mauricio knows in regards to Plato. But getting back to what you were saying, I think this is a wonderful way of keeping up with those contacts that perhaps never took action. For instance, if I've had seminars, workshops where 30 or 50 or 100 people attend, some of them do business, many of them do not, and others are wondering who I am, what I am, and this, what Mauricio was showing us, is a fantastic way of communicating with those prospects, keeping them alive with valued information so that eventually they take action. So,
you know what? You bring up a very good point. You may want to silence George so there's no looping going on. But he does bring up a good point. It's not just capturing the lead, but it's nurturing that lead. And you can nurture. We were talking about creating those different pages. And guys, we're committed to saving you a bunch of time by producing all these educational funnels, so that, you know, and personalize them in a way where in the end, it could have you speaking or your picture. We'll figure this out. You know, great opportunities to be able to do this would be at the Top Gun or at these HCI events, red carpet dates, where we have a little green screen, and then, you know, we can figure out a way to make sure that that these landing pages, these pieces of information that are going out, also has your information on it. And so we'll figure that out. But I think the important thing here is understanding the concept of lead nurturing. Until you've touched them enough times, you've delivered enough value that they'll reach out. And that has started to happen for many of my prospects. And I don't know about you, but, you know, we'll see that.
Allow me, I gave that comment on the assumption that I'm using the funnel to bring prospects to a workshop. And as I gather those names, or even if I download the names from Facebook, Instagram, or other sources, I want to nurture them with valued information so that eventually they take action.
Right. Thanks a lot. So another thing that I want to make sure that you do, and I'm going to share the screen again, because this is something that every single person here needs to do today. And if you have someone in your team who is also a Plato supporter, then they need to make sure to go to their account section, you know, go to your account section, and please make sure that you do your lead routing correctly. Because a lot of people, you know, share their funnels and then they say, well, I don't have any leads. And it's not that they don't have the leads, they're just not getting the notifications on time because they're not routing those leads correctly. So what you want to do here in your account section is make sure your email is correct. And then also make sure your cell phone number is correct. But more important than all is selecting your mobile carrier. You need to make sure you select your mobile carrier so that the lead notification goes out in two ways, in the form of an email and in a form of a text message. So if you don't have the right company that provides you with the service, then you're not going to get the lead on your cell phone. And it's very important to get the lead or to get it on your cell phone because you get it in real time. Sometimes it takes less than a second for that lead to arrive to your phone. Sometimes a little bit longer. I guess it depends on how busy the network is. I don't know much about that, but sometimes I notice the minute I click, I get the notification. Sometimes I click and it takes 3, 4, 5 seconds to get it. But make sure that you have this taken care of. And also, if you go to Twilio right now and people to ask if we're going to have different providers, the answer is yes. We will be connecting with different, third-party technologies for you to be able to expand your possibilities for nurturing those leads and doing those things. But right now, Twilio is what we have. Open up the account, and I just have found it amazingly effective because people do look at their text messages more than they look at email. So having both ways and being able to do autoresponders in both text messages and email is just a great way to do this. Any questions here? This one's important. Any questions here before I move forward? Do you have any questions?
I have a comment that for me personally, I didn't want to be having to answer every call or having to respond to every lead that came in. For instance, when I did a funnel for a workshop and I had maybe 60 people that registered, I didn't want to have to take the time to be responding back to each of those. So I have an assistant that replies back automatically. So my assistant's information would go on here, her phone number or email. So I have my information as well so that I know who comes in my email, but it's her number because she's the one that's going to reply back. So if you have an assistant, then your assistant's information would go here as well.
All right, good tip, guys. Good tip, Ricardo. Sometimes, yeah, like myself, I have my sister. She handles all the incoming calls to register people for the workshops or the BOPs. And it's just good that you can route it that way, like an email. Okay, so now let's get into the meat of this. This was just an intro, and I wanted to make sure I got the warm market section correctly. Come back to Plato every day if you can, because especially that section on the warm market is gonna evolve a lot in the next couple of days and a couple of weeks. And now moving forward is, how do we activate the funnels? How do we activate a funnel? And even though I explained this in our first training, I want to take a little bit of time today to show you that, you can't break this thing. If you activate a funnel, then you need to delete it. As long as you're not running a campaign with it, you can go ahead and do it and then bring it back again. I have intentionally deleted all my templates to bring them back to live in this training. And so what's happening right now is that we have 9 different funnels. And like I said in the past, and I think that we all need to work together, in my opinion, to grow our teams and recruit. And that's why I'm suggesting that we use either the one-on-one BOP, the HCI opportunity, which is basically an online BOP, and then the group BOP. So these 3 funnels right here that I'm browsing, that I'm hovering over, are the recruiting funnels that we have. And they all have a little bit of a different message. And of course, in the group BOP, that would be for a local event. That means people will be registering, you will be contacting them, and they will be coming to your BOP live. So is the one-on-one BOP. You are going to set up an appointment, and then you're going to meet with them via Zoom or at a local coffee shop, in your office, anywhere. And then the HCI opportunity Mauricio story, that's why it has the Mauricio name on here, It's basically a online BOP where I explain what we do for people, how much value we add, why we get paid so handsomely, and then invite them to, contact you to learn more about how to get involved and how to begin a career in this business. So the process to activate all of these funnels is the same. And many of you, I have seen that you're active, you're trying, and you're figuring it out. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the group BOP first here. So the group BOP is asking me on the first window for the event location name. So I'm going to say is this event location name is at HGI Chicago office. And the office there would be a 2 Mid-America Plaza, in Oak Brook. Yeah, well, I'm going to put Chicago, Chicago, Illinois. 60606, right? So what I'm doing here is I am just placing the location. Now, I've had requests from some of you to be able to put 2 different addresses or to put a different time. I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to expand a little bit over or above what your capabilities are when you're activating the funnel. I'll show you that in a minute. The second window that came up is the information that will help you personalize the autoresponders. Now, I also want to mention that many of you were looking at the autoresponders and say, hey, listen, they're coming in, they don't have my name or my number. This week, we took another look at the emails. And what we did is we decided to personalize them even more for you. In other words, place your HGI URL, your cell phone number, any contact information, your HGI financial website, so that it doesn't go to the generic or to the company side, obviously it goes to yours. And creating all those tokens took a little bit to get them done, but we finally finished this morning, and I'll show you how that looks. So in this one, is asking for the associate first name, obviously. In this example would be me, the associate last name, and the venue name. Where is this event going to take place? We said it was at the HGI Chicago office, right? The event address, we said it was 2 Mid-America Plaza, Chicago, Illinois, 60606. The first start date time. So we have let's just say it's going to be September 13th today? September 13th at 6 p.m. BOP, 6 p.m. And then the second day that we have, let's say we do it Saturday. Saturday, what would be the 15th? Saturday. 15, yeah, it's 15th at 9 a.m., right? 9 a.m. And then here's my HGI personal page URL. And this is how you want to do it, guys. You want to put HTTPS, 2 dots or whatever you call these, / HGICrusade.com / your username. And then, of course, your associate phone number, which will be 630-361-4637. And if everything is fine, that autoresponder has to come in with this information, and the confirmation email that goes out has to have this, and we'll see that right now. So for now, I'll just submit the information here, and there it is. Here is my funnel. So now people were asking if there is a URL that you can share. Of course, that's the email that's up here. That's not the email, but the URL that's at the top of your browser up here. And so what happens is that you can copy that URL and place it anywhere you want, right? And of course, here's the message, here's the video, and you should get a number, a percentage of the people that you drive through, a percentage of them will be curious if you do the right targeting. So percentage of them will be curious. They'll provide the information to get what we're promising in the video. They will submit that, and they will arrive at this place. So now you could see that you're telling them where the address is going to be. I'll show you real quick. I'm going to stop sharing here and just to show you, because this should be happening to you guys. You see maybe you can't see. Let me open this up again. I'm sharing that this lead right here, that's the text message that just came in that says, you know, new message. You got a new lead from the group BOP, and it got the name and all the information from the actual prospect, which is okay. So yeah, here it is. You can show them. That's how the lead comes in. That's how it's supposed to look like. Yeah, I think that's you can see that's the one on the bottom. It's got the information. It's got the name, so you can identify what lead is coming from because it's got the, or I should say, what funnel is coming from because it has the funnel name. In this case, I know it's a group BOP, so I can, you know, send them a text message in addition to the autoresponder that went out to make sure that you know, just to thank them. Hey, thanks for registering. And let me give you some additional information for you to get there, whatever. So I'm gonna go back to sharing.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
In my instance, when my assistant gets that text, my assistant replies immediately by saying, I will be.
Oh, maybe they can see you through me though.
Yeah.
They can see you.
Can they hear me?
No, I think you have your mic off.
It's on.
Sorry about that.
So what I was saying is when in my case, when my assistant gets that text message, she sends a text reply right away saying, I will be contacting you. Well, obviously she writes her name. She says that I'm Ricardo's assistant. I will be calling you within the next 24 hours so that I can give you instructions to the workshop, for instance. So there's an immediate response from my assistant to the prospect.
Cool. Thanks for those tips. And this, again, he's doing it. You know, to him is not theory anymore. He's actually doing it. So anyway, so you can see that this has been personalized. And one of the things that we're going to do today, which I noticed, is have the ability to put the time and date also on the landing page in addition to the autoresponder that just came through. If you can see here on an email real quick that there's going to be an email that, hold on a second here. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong email. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, I got you. I got the lead. What happens is that I have an opt-in. So let me go back to it and do that process. Because I got the lead. Here's the lead on the top, right? We got the lead right here, new lead from Mauricio. So it comes from Plato. It's got all the information. I'm not sharing. Yeah, you can see that. But what I haven't showed you is that when we actually opt in on that lead form, remember? Oh, wait, I did opt in. So let's see. Yeah, I did opt in, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. So let's look at this additional page. Let me bring another page because it does have a group BOP autoresponder coming in. And let's see here. Let's bring up another template just to make sure that it's not really just happening with that email, with that page. So on this one, this is the online BOP funnel, and we're going to use the same thing, HTTP as acicrusade.com/Mauricio. Associate's first name, put my information, and of course again, you know, I'm putting the URL twice because one of them is for the actual landing page and the other one is for the autoresponder. And I'm giving the example on how to do it right here. People were asking, well, how do I do it? So I just do like www. You know, so it's actually with the HTTPS HCICrusade.com/Mauricio, right? And I want to kind of space this out a little bit like this. And I'll do it. And let's go ahead and let's fill that form, figure out what's going on, and fix that right away. We literally finished that this morning, you know, making all the updates on all the personalization of the autoresponder. And so here's the autoresponder coming in. Let's see which one is this one, because I got the lead here, and this one's the autoresponder.
In other words, you're going into your email to check the lead.
Yeah, because you know I obviously opt in, right? So it has my name on the top and it's got my name in the bottom, and the only reason it did that is because I registered as Mauricio. If I had registered as Ricardo, as an example, it would say, "Hi, Ricardo. You know, we are so thankful, blah, blah, blah." But look at this, guys. Now your URL is actually in each of these emails now. Your phone number is actually there now. It was not there before. So it was just a generic email that was going out, but it didn't really have your information for them to contact you. Obviously, big detail, right? So now these autoresponders come and the links are clickable to your pages. Like if they click on this one here, now it goes to my HCI Crusade page, not the company, general company. So it opens up both in desktop and also in your iPhone and the phone, the way that the email is displayed. If there were any errors, please keep reporting them back if they're not displaying right. But right now we've checked all of them. They should be displaying good on iOS and iPhone and your desktop. So basically, you can do that with every single template. And one of the things that I guess I miss when I was showing you how to activate this thing, can you mute yourself? Or who's when I was activating this, is that you can edit here the information. Like if you notice that there is a funnel that is not giving you all the flexibility as far as putting some more information, I would kind of go here and add the date and time. You know, it doesn't have to ask for a date and time, but just creatively, I would say, you know, something like, if the event's going to take place on Saturday,
9 to 12.
yeah, Saturday 13th, oh, September 13th at 6 p.m. and see how that comes out, guys. So sometimes you gotta okay, let's see if we have to refresh this. Am I logged in as an admin there? I may be. Let me see. So what happens is that if I'm logged in as an administrator, it just acts differently. And I don't know if I'm logged in as an administrator or not. So let me log in as just Mauricio. Sorry about that. Just so that you can have I can have the experience that every user has. So here we go. We're back at the funnels, and we have 2 of these funnels. So all I'm trying to say is that if you need to add additional information, you can do that, and it's going to show when you actually display. And so any questions so far? Because now we're going to get into how to drive traffic to those funnels. But I want to make sure that any questions that is you know, that are coming up right now are answered. What do you see in the chat? You can also raise your hand, you know, and we would like to hear from you. If you have a specific question, you can raise your hand, open your microphone, and we can certainly have a conversation. Okay, nothing on this one. Then we'll move on to the next thing.
Do I have to pay for Twilio? What membership should I buy? Please explain again how to actually access and use the SMS aspect.
Awesome. Yeah, Twilio, if you go on their website, they'll tell you exactly how many pennies you pay for 1,000 of the text message. It's really, 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 really cheap to do it. Definitely it's worth all the time that's saved and communication. You know, I'd rather I could pick up my phone and text message each and every, make a group, which obviously is not an effective way to do it. It's annoying to a lot of people, especially if you have 1,000 or 2,000 people. You can either send them a text message in 1 second, or you can start calling them all, to follow up. It just makes a lot of sense.
How do you edit an autoresponder that you have already created?
You cannot edit the autoresponder. The ones that when you activate a template, it comes with autoresponders already included. The idea is that you don't have to edit to stay in compliance, and that's basically Hubert's condition to have this. Now, one of the things you can do, and I'm going to show you, I just don't want you to spend your time right now trying to build all these different funnels yourself until we get the hang of the basics, get traffic, get more recruit. But this is what you can do. If you go to this funnel section, you can actually build your own funnel. You can name it whatever you want to name it. You can create your own autoresponder. You can't edit the ones we provide you, but you can create. Here on autoresponders, you can actually create a new autoresponder. I could say test autoresponder. And now I have test autoresponder, and I can add my first autoresponder. This would be one that would go out immediately when someone signs up. And then I could do another title, and then a minute after they sign up, or 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 1 day, or 5 days. So you could have all these sequence of drip emails go out. You can create as many as 90 drip emails for every funnel you create. Now you can go ahead and do that. All we need is approve. Like this Plato technology is to grow your HCI business. And what Hubert wants is consistency, and he wants professionalism, and he wants the things to look good. So if you do create a funnel, when you create the funnel, you can go here and build a custom one. You get to name it, and then you can start building it. It's very easy to build it, guys. Very, very easy to build it. When you actually publish that, you're not going to get a public URL. It's going to go into my custom funnels. And then Lynn or myself, and eventually other people that will be part of the team to make sure that the funnels look good, are either going to give you feedback, right, on your autoresponder and your landing pages, and just for you to improve it, to help you improve it. And once they approve it, you can use your own funnel. I don't know if that answers the question, but we'll eventually do some training on that. Any other questions on there?
Are you saying the recorded sessions, please through email, but Samir already responded to that.
Okay, cool. Cindy, I know you raised your hand. Go ahead, unmute yourself and ask the question before we move on to the next thing. How you doing?
It was just regarding the CRMs.
Yes.
CRM capacity. And is that only through the Twilio, or is it just under regular Plato funnel?
Let me see if I understood the question. Your voice was kind of low. Let me raise my volume over here. Cindy, my volume was so low, I couldn't really hear you. Do you mind repeating the question again, please?
Sure, absolutely, Mauricio. Thank you. I wanted to know the CRM, which is Customer Retention Management capability of Plato. Is that only under the Twilio, or is it under the regular Plato capability?
Okay, so the follow-up, you do have, without having to integrate Twilio or anything, as an example, we go here to autoresponders, right? Which is, I think this is what you're talking about. How do I have a constant communication with my prospect? So, I'm sorry, this is where you build the autoresponders via email, or whether they are SMS autoresponders. You can build them both. And on prospects and contacts, if you don't have a Twilio API or account, all you're going to be able to do is use the email. But that sends out, you can communicate and do, the drips or special emails, special communications to continue to nurture your leads. And here is the CRM. This is, again, not really, there are new CRM capabilities that are coming in very soon, where you'll be able to get a lead and then see where in the process they are. If they've already seen the presentation, if they've already had the interview, if they have, signed up. Where are they? Have they done their F&A? Have they done their prospect list? Have they created a business plan? Have they been matched to a field builder? All that you're going to be able to have in a sequence. So this is what we have right now is basically just the start of what we're going. But what you could do in the I would call it contact management, just because you can add a lot of information of that prospect, of that lead, comment and anything that is happening when you're contacting them. I don't know if that answers the question, Cindy. Let me know.
Yes, that does, because the classic CRM for tracking and where they are in the procedure is exactly what I was talking about. And you answered the question that it's not quite there yet, but we are going to have that capability. So thank you, Mauricio. I appreciate what you and Ricardo are doing. Thank
you for your support, because this, again, and I want to repeat again, think about this as something we're doing as a team, something we're doing together. And it's just from now, just with the amount of people that are using it right now, even though we have less than half of the people that could meet us today, maybe they're doing different things, but that's it gives us the resources to continue to develop this. Just want you to know that, how important your support is, and everybody will be able to leverage off of all the new things that are going to be developed for it. Okay, so let's move on. Time is running fast. We're in 40 minutes into this thing. So let's go into how to drive traffic, okay? And there's two ways, guys. I'm gonna stop my sharing the screen because I wanna get this clear. I wanna get this message as clear as it can be. So there's obviously two types of traffic, right? There's the traffic you can control, and then there's the traffic you can't control. There's the paid traffic, and there is the organic traffic. The organic is the one you really can't control. The paid traffic, you control a little bit more. And so sometimes people say organic and free traffic. I don't think there's such thing as free traffic, because in order to generate free traffic, you have to produce content that is viral. So even though you're not paying for it, like I'm a very lazy person. So I'd much rather just pay for it, because I'm not even that creative to create like a viral content and good content that people would share and bring a lot of organic traffic. Now, with that being said, I promise you, we have started conversations with some people that are good at that, and we'll have a lot of content that is viral so that you don't have to create it, and you can share that and drive traffic through your funnels, because I think that's going to add a lot of value to everybody. But right now, you have your warm market, right? You can share these funnels in your groups and in pages and share it with friends. But I don't want you to think that this is like a magic bullet where you just basically post it in a group or on your Facebook, and just because you have 500 or 2,000 or 3,000 friends, that all of a sudden you're going to be flooded with leads. That's just not what happens. There's also a tool that needs to bring a lot of traffic in. So I want to talk to Ricardo a little bit about it, because he was in this stage in the beginning. What was your impression of it? Like, because you're doing the event 2-3 times a month, and I've seen them get full all the time.
I've been doing 2 events per month, but I'll be honest with you guys. At the beginning, I was completely lost. I really didn't know what I was doing. I never did anything with funnels before. Even the topics and the features we're discussing now, honestly, I still don't use them all, because I don't have all the knowledge yet. That's why I said at the beginning, with the little I know, it makes a tremendous difference. And I'm not even using the autoresponders yet. Because remember, I started experimenting with the funnels way before Mauricio integrated them into Plato. My assistant and I had to manually respond. Right now, Mauricio has it all put together where the system will help you respond automatically. That is amazing. So initially for me was understanding how graphically or visually this takes place. The funnel, which is to attract the audience to my workshop, and then what happens after the workshop. So there may be a lot of confusion at the beginning, but you'll get through it.
Yeah, but the message I'm trying to communicate here is that it's a numbers game.
Yes, it is.
When we hear the system, and Hubert always talked about the numbers game, and that you're able to get that many people in your workshop because you actually pay for a lot of traffic to come to you. But does it make sense?
I was doing radio, TV, and combined radio and TV, I did not get the audience that I get through the funnels using social media. And only using Facebook. I haven't even experimented with Instagram, LinkedIn, and the other platforms. So that should give you the answer. Combined radio and TV was not giving me the amount of prospects and leads that I get through the funnels using social media, Facebook.
Yeah, so if you're patient with us, and can you silence your mic if I get the loop? Thank you.
Mauricio?
That's because I was muted.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So let me repeat back and say that, you know, the transformation in my business in the beginning, and I'm talking about the real growth when I went to from just struggling to really having predictability and producing serious numbers is when I started investing in my business. So that's all I'm saying. If you're patient and you work with us, we will reverse engineer some of the most viral content that is out there to minimize the required investment to bring about traffic. But in addition to that, and while we have that, let's go ahead and see if we could make a little bit of an investment into bringing that traffic, because that's really what's going to make this work. And I was asking Ricardo, is it worth it? You're saying, you know, you just shared with us that not even radio and TV combined has matched the effectiveness of using one of the funnels, because you only have one funnel, really. It's been one funnel you've been using ever since.
I've been repeating that funnel many times. I only have one funnel, one. You've created 9 funnels. I only have one.
Well, but one is enough. One is represented for me and for you. I mean, I've seen hundreds of people through that, and that's dozens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars based on, you know, if I compare to what I had to invest in it, it's like no comparison because of how handsomely we get compensated when someone rolls over an IRA or starts a life insurance. I mean, it's you know, but anyways.
The funnel that I've been using is the one for the workshops. That's the one I've been using most of the time, all the time.
Yeah, but they should all work. And I would encourage you now to use the recruiting one, because that is obviously will help you into the expansion of your distribution, which is the recruiting. That's the name of the game. So just to summarize, is the content we will provide for you every day. Every day we're working every day. We'll also provide you with the viral content that you can use.
How much of an investment are you making in Facebook? Someone's asking.
I'll tell you what. Let me answer that straight on. So what has happened in Chicago is the first time I launched the first funnel, I remember, I did about a $700 investment, and we had like 60, 70 people, I remember. It's a $700. Now think about what, you know, even 30 people bring in possibilities if you count the amount of assets in the room. Even if you're a bad closer, let's say you only close 10%, 20% of that. Let's say there's $5 million in the room, you close 500,000. Let's say there's $2 million in the room, you close 200,000. I don't care if you're at the beginning level, you're gonna make many times over whatever you invested. We've been running this for a year now, I think. How long you been running this for, Ricardo?
About a year, but initially I did spend $1,500 one time in Facebook 1 month, because even that I still was experimenting. And even spending $1,500 a month in Facebook, if you got 30 people and you close 7 deals, that by far it makes sense.
So did you make at least $15,000 10 times?
I made enough, plenty.
I know it was a lot more than that, because I see the numbers. So I don't know if that answers, but one thing that I will tell you is that if the sophistication, like the funnel could be working it's been working for a year. Still, you had an event, it was packed in the library. I saw that.
And I do not know all these features that you have incorporated into Plato. I don't know them. Most of it, I do not know it. I just know a little bit enough to do it, and it works.
Well, maybe it's a good thing for you not to know them, because then you focus on the one thing and then you run that one funnel.
I say that because I wanted to realize that you don't have to have 100% of the knowledge to be able to run with this.
No, of course not. But you do have to be committed as far as investing in your business. I'll tell you that, because Plato is it's not gonna just magically bring you all the prospects. And but let's think about, what if you could get a 10 to 1? You know, some people do it if they get 2 to 1. If they get twice their investment, they think it's worth it. You know, but the beauty of the beauty of our business is that we're not necessarily just selling a $49 course or a nutrition membership, or we're selling some products and some solutions that I'm not you probably figured that out by now, that sometimes represent dozens of thousands of dollars, right? Whether it is to a recruit that will have the internal consumption, and then that recruit may grow, or whether it is to a client. I would say 10 to 1 is still conservative based on my numbers, what we've been doing. So I don't know if that answers the question. Who asked that question, which is obviously very good? Monique. I don't know if that answers the question, but.
There's another question.
Oh, yeah, it is. It says, how much of an investment are you making with Facebook? That's
right. And the other question is about demographics, which demographics have been the most successful. That's
yes, for me, Monique, that does answer my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. And as far as the demographics, hey, why don't you share the demographic that you're using? I'm going to share, because we've been using them both in the like I've been able to have funnels for the general English speaking community, and I have certain criteria, and I'll share that with you now. But what have you been using?
Since I've been using my funnel for the workshops, my audience that I use, or the demographics I use, is people over 40 with at least $150,000 in assets in a radius of 10 miles within the area where I'm holding the workshop. Obviously, if you're going to use a funnel to recruit, your demographics would be different. But since I use the funnel for the workshop specifically, I want people over 40. And with 150,000 in assets or more, you can be more selective and do $300,000 of assets or higher. But I've been using over 40.
And so, you know, I've done them in both. And even though we're in the same city, it's been plenty. It's been enough for both. And we still, every time we turn it on, it keeps generating. But I will say this, that it has varied. Like sometimes if I want to fill the event in 3 days, I basically say, you know, I have, let's say $900 as a budget for this campaign. I do $300 a day in 3 days, and I get a lot of leads in one day, versus putting $100 a day or $50 where I kind of get the same numbers. It's just over an extended period of time. So sometimes, especially when I do an event in a restaurant where not a lot of time is required to reserve the space, like it is in a university, as an example, where you have to do it like a month in advance. And so what I do is, if I have 1 or 2 weeks away from the event, I put the same budget. I just do it in a much shorter period of time to get the biggest number. It does create a lot of pressure in Maricela, but we get it done in that way. But typically, it's been between $700 and up to $1,500 to have an event. That's way, 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 way lower than $8,000 I used to do with direct mail back in the day, or maybe dozens of thousands he used to do with radio and TV. So, that's just something to consider. And the demographics, we have a system here. You guys know this, right? You guys seen this system right here. So there's a demographic in the prospecting section of the leadership format system that talks about who are we targeting, right? And it says that it needs to be someone who's 30 years of age, who's married, have dependent children, is a homeowner, has some, interest in entrepreneurship or business, has at least $50,000 in income. I kind of go a little bit higher than that on income. Is somehow dissatisfied. In other words, if someone's dissatisfied, maybe they've been searching for career changes, maybe they like the entrepreneurship things. And so that's how you do the demographic. So there's a quantitative in the profile. There's some quantitative data that you're looking for, and there's this qualitative data. And then, when I've done these workshops in English, as an example, not just in the Hispanic market, well, I'm looking for people that are 55 to 65, as an example. They have $50,000 in income. They are parents. They own a home. And what's the other? The other, so it's like 5. They said they own a home. And then on the qualitative side, someone that's a traveler, someone that likes traveling, someone that likes sports, someone who is a positive person. In other words, has shown interest in Anthony Robbins or Robert Kiyosaki, or someone that likes to be around positive information. That's the kind of client I want. So that's what I tell Facebook to get me. And that's what we're trying to get into. It looks like we're not going to be able to get into that. But we will have at least 2 or 3 trainings a week starting this, basically with today, so that at least we can get those recordings. You can go back. If today, we're probably not going to be able to make it all the way through doing the whole targeting and placing the entire ad. We've always been through an hour here. And I hope that you guys are finding it valuable, but there's so much you can say in an hour, So just try to be as many as these trainings as you can. I am recording it, so I'll tell Lynn to place it somewhere in the back office. And maybe, Sam, we could put these trainings inside our own Plato section so that you can go in there and find them by date. That would also be a good idea. Okay, so any other question there? Cindy, you still have your hand raised if you want to, or unless you have another question, Cindy, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No more questions. Sorry, I didn't know how to take my hand down.
That's all right. You can keep it up as long as you don't get tired.
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right. So let's get to the next thing, and we're still here for another 30 minutes, guys. So I know it's a long one, but let's see if we can stay here for that long. What happened?
Mauricio?
Yeah, that's fine. So Ricardo, any additional comment before you go? Because I know you have an appointment, but anything else that you wanna share? I don't know, before you go.
Like Hubert says, don't give up. Even if you feel frustrated, if you feel it's overwhelming, if you feel confused, because honestly, that's the way I felt for a very long time. I just kept doing it, and you begin seeing results. So just hang in there.
Thank you. All right. Good luck with your appointment, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get back to now that we have our funnels active, in this case, I have the group BOP and the online BOP. How do I share it? So if you look at the icon over here, the image icon, we provide some ads, in other words, like an image, a proposed image that kind of goes with the text that you can utilize. Most people say, hey, that's a long information. That's a very long text to place on an ad. Trust me, it works. When you're delivering value and when you're telling the story, people begin to read, they get hooked on it. And, it's much more effective than just going out and asking them to take an action without delivering any of the value, any of the story. So it has proven to me that sometimes the longer text works better than just, click here because I've got this great opportunity for you. So we do have a title that we recommend. We have a text that we recommend. Of course, this you can change. I would recommend that you use the ones we provide in the beginning, and then later you can, experiment with other text and images. So each funnel has at least 3 to 5 images, titles, and text. And this is what you use to, when you're creating a campaign, which we're going to do right now. I think we could do that in the next 15 minutes. So when you want to share on Facebook, as an example, if you're logged in, you can basically share. I'll work with Samir. The image that should be appearing should be an assigned image, but there's something with the cookies. We didn't have an image in the beginning, and there's something with the cookies there that is not bringing the image, but it will bring it for you. It will, when you go to share, you will see that, as an example, this particular funnel was assigned an image. I actually can't see it here because it can only see it from the admin. But there is an assigned image, and maybe, Sam, maybe we could show them what is the assigned image for sharing. Maybe we can identify so that they know what is the assigned image that's there. But bottom line is that you can share on Facebook. Here's the image, actually came up now. And this is, again kind of like contacting the people that kind of like your warm market, right? Because your Facebook friends and could be considered warm market. Many of them could be. And so from here, you could share on your friend's timeline, or if you belong to groups, you can look up your group and you can share on groups. Of course, you want to give a message out like, hey, check this out, guys, or something that invites them to click and you want to ask them to give you their opinion on what you're doing, as an example. And you can also share on a message. You can send it to friends here and send them directly to sharing. When there's a section in the leadership format system that talks about the video drop. And I've heard Hubert say in the past that when they really exploded back in the day, they had something called the play, and it's still here. It's on the approach contact. It's called the video drop system, the play. And it says the most effective way to contact new prospect about HCI opportunity is the video drop system. Well, nowadays we don't have to go to a client's house and drop a DVD, say nothing, run away, and then come back later to pick it up, and just hoping that they watched it. Now we can actually share it here. This is our video drop, guys. This is the video drop. And we have hundreds of people on our Facebook, so we could do video drops and then come back to them and present to them our great opportunity. Does that make sense? Any questions there? All right. So yeah, Amber, thank you for that. We're going to purge it and then making sure that the images show for everybody. So if there's any, I'm going to open up my chat here. Sorry, because Ricardo's no longer here to help me out with that. So I'm going to be kind of keeping an eye on that, on it.
Hey, Mauricio?
Yes.
Are you planning on going into the details of how to drive traffic through Facebook on this call?
We're doing it right now. That's the next thing we're doing right now.
Okay.
Thank you. Is this Amber?
Yeah, it's Amber. Sorry.
Awesome. Yes, that's exactly what we're going through. But I didn't want to skip this section because this is a place where you can do a little bit of that sharing, but it's obviously going to require to do that follow-up. And this is just the video drop, because what you're sending here is you're sending that funnel that has the video, right? And then showing people will show their interest by providing their information as well. So
Right.
let's not skip this part. You know, it's a way, it's like you have your list of 100 or 200 people. The idea is that everybody that we incorporate uses their warm market. So we don't want to skip that. But in addition to that, we then have to go and get the non-warm market, which is all the cold traffic that we can convert. And that's what we're going to do right now. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Here's what we do, guys. If you have created a Facebook page already, then this is going to go much faster. If you have not done that, then we'll show you how to do it right now. So here's my Facebook, right? Here's my Facebook page, and a business page, or it's also known as just a Facebook, not your news feed, but an actual page. I have a lot of them here. I have Conquistador, I have HCI Mexico, I have Iridium Soft, I have my mine. So it's very easy to create a page. You basically go to the left column and create a page, like pages here, create them, or you can start by selecting up here in your menu. You can go to where it says create a page, like create page. You see this here? So when you click on that, you create that page, and it's going to ask if you are a business or brand, community, or public figure. I do public figure, right? I'm expanding, I'm creating content, so I'm a public figure. And so I give a name to my page. In this case, I'll say it's Mauricio Garcia again, and select the category, entrepreneurship. And it's really not that complicated, guys. There's the page. It says that maybe the page is page name. I'm going to use HCI Mauricio, something like that. So there it is. All I got to do now is upload a profile. Everyone here, I am sure, has uploaded a profile on their page, and also a, what do you call that? I'm going to skip them because this is pretty self-explanatory. You upload your cover and you upload your photo. And what is the cover and what's the photo? This is where your photo goes, and this is where your cover goes. So there you go. You have a page, right? This is all you need in order to be able to create a Facebook ad campaign. So now that you have your page, you can go right ahead and create an actual ad. Create the ad. If you don't have a Facebook fan page, you're not going to be able to create the ad, because you have to link it to the page. So what we'll do now is, and the way that I do it, and I'm sharing with you what I'm doing, is I'm using this one option here to drive traffic to my landing page. So when I click on that, I want to call this campaign HCI Recruiting or HCI 2018. And of course, you can also do ad sets, like, you know how inside Plato there are 4 ads, 4 texts. I could create an entire ad set where I can, the same campaign is publishing the same, not the same, but the 4 different types of ads and texts out there. So I'm just going to call it here, for the lack of a better name, I'm just going to call it, I don't know, ad set 1. HCI Recruiting 2018. That's how I identify it. And this is so easy. Of course, there's more advanced stuff that we could do, but just doing it the way I'm showing you right now can get you very far. There are some other stuff you could do over here, but we're not going to get into that. We'll leave that for some of the other more advanced stuff. Let's get the basics right before we can go to the advanced stuff. So right here, what we want to do as an example, like if my office is in Oak Brook Terrace, I can, if I want to recruit people that are close to my office, or I want to bring people to an event at a location that is close to my office, and I can actually tell Facebook to show my ads to people who are close to zip code, or I'm going to actually use an address, to Mid-America, Plaza. Here it is. So Facebook can show that ad to people who are 1 mile, 2 miles, or 10-mile radius. Typically, if I'm doing an event, right, and 5 miles is great, the best. 10 miles still works sometimes. Works really well. And so I'm doing it right now at 10-mile radius. Okay, let's see. 10-mile radius. And what the system says if we're going to do this for recruiting, the system says that we are targeting people who are how old? Can you tell me in the chat? How old are the people we're targeting according to the system in the top 25 list? What's it say? What's it say? Does it say 30? It says 30. So I'm going 30 to 50, just for this example. Men and women, 10-mile radius, I've got 500,000. Obviously, that's a lot, right? And I want to make sure that this little needle here gets as close as I can to the red to be more specific. So right now, all I've told Facebook is, look, I'm looking for people who are 30 to 50 years old, who are obviously men and women. And now this is where I can begin to be more specific as far as demographics. So I can browse what the demographics are right here, and it says I want a certain level of education, a certain financial. The leadership format system says that I'm looking for people who are, they've changed this here a little bit. I don't know exactly. It says income top 25 to 50% zip codes. So what does that mean? This is people who live in the top 25 to 50% of the U.S. zip codes by average household income based on publicly available information. So before, Facebook used to have it where you could target by a specific income, like 25,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. So I'm going to go in the middle here. And that dropped down to 65,000 out of 600,000. Right? So I can continue and find a little bit more information, like what is additional to demographics. Maybe I want parents, right? All parents. I want all parents. Parents all. The system says that when we have couples, you know, people that have other people that they're responsible for, you know, they're more committed, stuff like that. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to follow the top 25 criteria. So they're married, they have dependent children, they own a home, right? It says we need to look for a homeowner. So I go here again, I browse on the demographics, and I can find some financial, and let's see if we have home ownership in here. Because Facebook did go through a lot of changes just recently. So let's see. That just only has the income. Okay. So the next thing would be someone who is a professional or has a career, or no, I'm sorry, it says solid business and career background. So I don't know. You tell me on the chat. What does that mean? Have solid career, business background. What does it mean to you? You know, because you know, when I was invited into this thing, I didn't necessarily meet all those criteria. Let me see what Robert says. Is there a category for targeting veterans, current and former veterans? Right here in demographic, this is what they've got: interest, work, relationship, politics, parents, live event. Right? We have financial, and we have education. So fields of study, and then you can basically pick here. And you can go as specific as you want. You may want to say, we want to work with college grads. and that drops to 200, or actually it didn't drop. It's 290,000 people that can be targeted. So this is where you spend a little bit of time and really think about this. This is kind of like the way I like to approach it. I like to think of them as the people I would like to to work with. Um, if I'm recruiting someone, of course that I'm going to spend a lot of my time with them, right? Helping them grow their business. I'm going to become friends with them. So we have to, in a way, there's a, in my opinion, there's a way to know if we're going to get along based on the interest that we have. So like I said before, I'd like to work with someone who is positive, who has interest, like with Tony Robbins as an example, right? Someone who would show interest on that. Someone who's read books, and there could be so many. I'm just bringing some of the popular names, right? Like Robert Kiyosaki. Whoop. And so you can start to add some of those interests in here. And as long as I've seen that when I have a number of, let's say, 60 to 70,000, that's a good number, especially when I'm trying to fill up an event. For recruiting, maybe a little bit different. But you do want to have all these different things in the beginning, all these different interests, and something that could help that we may not be able to go through right now in this training is how to narrow it even further down. But the best way I can answer this, and I'm going back to that, is who do I want to work with? Like, I'm spending hours, days, weeks, maybe months and years with these people that I'm going to attract in my business. So if I have the opportunity to tell Facebook who I want to attract as far as their interests is concerned, then I will do that instead of just be very, too broad. So this is where you create that target. So we got 310,000 people with these characteristics. They're college grads. They are. I have to study more this 10 to 25% zip code in the U.S. based on income. There's even was last week we had a campaign. It was still showing the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 up to $1 million in income. And parents, interests, stuff like that. And towards the end is where you can begin with the budget. And typically I would go with something like $10 to $50. I actually test with $10 or $20 to see just about how many visits it would take for every click or for every opt-in as an average. And once I get that, then that's where I scale. If it's going to take me $5 to get an opt-in or $10 to get an opt-in, then I can do my math and I can multiply. And depending on how good I am as far as closing and recruiting, then I know what my capability is and how can I expand the business. How can I increase my budget to bring in more people. So you don't even have to go crazy with $50. You could start at $10. And when you do this first part, this is probably where you need to spend the most amount of time. And I would encourage you to, just like you read books, spend a little bit of time also on YouTube and learn about targeting, because you want to attract the right kind of people to your business. So once you're done with that targeting part, then the next thing is placing the actual ad. And this is a very easy, because you have been provided with the images and the text. So I like to use, if I'm using video, I like to use this one. If I'm using just a single image, this is just my personal preference. I like to have one nice image with the title and the text. So this is where I go back to Plato and I use my ads, the ads that have been provided for me, right? If I'm holding an event here, I can just download the image. I think it's downloaded. Didn't I download the image? All right, let me go back to it. I can download the image. It's there. Okay. And I can also copy the title and I can go here where it says headline. This is the headline. I would put my title or headline here. Maybe we'll ask Sam to change, instead of title, call it headline so that it matches and people don't get lost. And then I will copy the URL. What URL? Well, the URL of the funnel I'm trying to promote out there, which would be the BOP URL, the group BOP. So I'm going to go up here and copy this URL and just place it here. There it is. So I have the URL. That's where people will link to. Those 300,000 people that Facebook will put my ad on their newsfeed, they will arrive at something like this. So I have the title up here, right? And then I have some text. I want to have some text on there as well. So I go back to Plato and open up my options here for text. I can read it and choose the one I like the best. Let's just say I like this one the best. I can copy that. I can just copy it from here as well. Just copy that by clicking there. And then I can bring that over here to the text section right here. And one of the things that you do have to do right now is kind of separate those paragraphs. So we are working on a way for you not to have to do this. And maybe instead of copying even with the title, just copy the ad text. So just read through it. It's going to make sense, right? You just creating a little bit of space so that all the information is not crunched up. And we are trying to figure it out where if you copy it, you don't have to go through this. It's sort of those constant improvements that we're making based on the experience that we're getting. So again, you'll figure this out if you read through it. Just separate wherever it needs to separate to make it an easier read. And I may not be doing it in the best. I may not be separating them. But you will figure that out. So here's the thing. So now the ad is basically there, and I can look at a preview here. Actually, I have to post it. So I'm going to go ahead and post it now. I'm going to put the Learn More button there. This Learn More button is the one button that's here. I like to always, at least for what I'm doing now, since it's an invitation to a workshop, I want them to learn more about it. And we're going to not talk about these other sections right now. There's a way to add a pixel, like create the pixel. Well, that's more advanced stuff that you can place on your pages. But for now, let's just confirm that ad. And so what's going to happen right now is that someone is going to review it at Facebook, and they're going to approve it or disapprove it. We've run these, and it's very, very unlikely. Like you can see one, and I did it on purpose. Like all of these other ones are inactive. These are ads I've run. Sometimes you get disapproved, and 99% of the times you'll get it approved without a problem. And they'll tell you exactly why it's been disapproved. You just make those changes, and you'll be fine. So if you want to see how the ad looks, you can actually click on them, and you can see a preview here as how the ad's actually going to look in a desktop on the newsfeed. So they kind of show it inside my own desktop, but how that ad actually looks, the page that I'm using to get that launched. And then if I click on that, if I click on it, I can read more. What is it about? And obviously click on the link, and that link takes me here now, right? And that's where the magic starts to happen. So when 300,000 people, if you're only paying per click, and if the message is strong enough and the offer is valuable enough and intrigued enough, then you'll have a percentage of that traffic to opt in. And then you'll get an opportunity to follow up, contact them, and bring them into your team. So it's just another way to get your agenda to fill up fast. And in this case, it's obviously is a group bop. And so that's, I don't know, is there any questions right now? Let me see the
Mauricio?
chat. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. How many of these Facebook ads have you ran at once simultaneously?
I only run about one or two. If you can see, I probably, because of how profitable it is for me, I've probably spent about $30,000 on Facebook over the last 2 years. But I don't know if that's the question. Like, how many?
One at a time, or do you run them like a few ads at a
Oh,
time?
yeah. No, I do run because it's the same. Yeah, great question. Was that Amber again? That kind of sounded like your voice. Yeah. So here's what I do, Amber. I've done this many times where I run in the same ad set. I run 4 or 5 different ads. So here's what I do. Once you have one created, you can duplicate that. So it saves you a lot of time. It's going to use all the demographics and everything that you've already created. You can duplicate that just like I did. And all I do now is change the image and change the text. So in this example, I go back to Plato, pick image number 2, right? And then I change that image over here. I can just change the image. I can bring a new one, which would be this one, I think. So I have it stored. So let me select that or bring it. Oh no, that's the same one. That's the same one. Let me bring a new image. So I can select an image, change the image, and I can upload the image, right? So I think I downloaded that. Should be on my downloads that we did right now. I don't know. Let's just say that, let me see if I can find that image. I don't know where it went. I know I downloaded it, but I wasn't careful enough to place it. So I'm going to use this image as an example. And I want to confirm, because there's a group bop, right? So there's an image of me. There it is. And then I can change the text. And I can do that again here. If I don't know what to say, then I can copy this and then bring it again here. So what will happen now, Amber and everybody else, is that I can grab this whole thing here and just basically replace that text. So I do have to, and Sam is here, part of the development team, and they're looking at, it's good that we're going through this because they're looking at how to make it more user-friendly as far as not having to do this. That would be great help, not having to separate the text as you're reading through. But it's a lot, it saves you a lot more time than having to come up with the stories and having to come up with the text and then having to place it and test it, because this stuff has been tested and it's got the.
Mauricio.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, in that example you just had, you had 60,000 people and it was a $10 per click. Is it $10 once they say, this is how you contact me, I am interested, is that when that becomes a per click?
It becomes a per click when they actually, when they click on that learn more button and they go to your page.
So at that point, you pay $10 for that one person.
No. You're paying, here's the average. It's going to depend, but I would say that click is going to be about, 28 cents, 60 cents per person that actually arrives and here's your pitch, here's your offer.
Very good. So
Yeah, it's not $10 per person. No. It's actually in the cents right now.
Very good. So what is the $10? Is it your limit, or is?
Yeah, that's how much you're telling Facebook that you're willing to spend $10 a day.
Okay.
And that's how I begin testing,
Very good, thanks.
and then and this is one of the reasons I really love this, because I remember back in the day where I had to write that $100,000 check to Sin Censura for a 1-year commitment for advertising. These radio companies and TV companies are not going to let you do a $10 test on their network to place an ad. It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
So now we can do this. And I tell you what, guys, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stop sharing. Well, before I do that, I just want to finish answering Amber's question. You can see that there's a second ad, Amber, but it's part of the same campaign group. In other words, it's part of the same HCI 2018. So that same $10 is now going to be split between the two ads, because that ad set has two, and you have unlimited number. And so when you do that, you can actually see which one will have a higher relevance score and which one's converting the best. I shut everyone out, every other one off, and I just keep the one that's actually converting the most. And so what we're going to be doing in the back end is we're going to be tracking with pixels and other things which messages convert the most. Because, guys, I'll be honest with you, I don't know it all, right? We're learning as we're doing. I believe in massive imperfect action. I believe in acting on the little we know and learn as we go, and taking what the system says seriously, as far as knowledge doesn't create activity, but activity creates the knowledge. And the value that I see here, even though you're not going to find it perfect right now, there's always areas of improvement. And plus, the market is consistently becoming more sophisticated. So we are in a place right now where if we collectively give this a shot, put a little bit of investment in it, we're going to get a lot of data, a lot of real data from real funnels being used with our opportunity. And what's going to happen with that is that we're going to improve upon it. And we're going to improve and improve and improve and improve. And what's going to happen is that everybody's cost is going to go down and down. And why is it going to go down? Because we'll become more effective, because we'll convert faster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if we do it collectively again, we're also going to learn about the different markets. So while we're all doing these things, behind the curtains, there's a lot of study being done. And then I would say 3 to 6 months from now, at the latest, all your funnels will have percentage conversion rates. Like you could say, well, we have all these different funnels. This one converted at 20%, this one at 3%, this one at 50%. Which one are you going to use? The highest converting ones, of course. And so that's what I see, how this is going to evolve. So it's just going to get better. But just like Ricardo said, he really knew nothing. I told him, look, man, if you want to know how I'm getting all these people to a workshop, just run it, man. Just run a campaign, and you'll see. And the only reason he's still doing radio is he's got a contract. But he just told you he doesn't get as close as the result that he gets from that. So in summary, we will create viral content to help all of us and even the future associates get traffic without them having to be extremely creative to produce that viral content. But let's work together by running some campaigns, and let's look at that data. And every week we'll be improving up on it. And that's what I ask that we all do.
Perfect. Thank you so
You
much.
know, we can leverage. I mean, you know, I can't stress that enough. I can't say enough about that, how much we can learn together. 100 people going at it at the same time. A lot of data is going to come through. And then we're going to together help each other out, because whatever we learn as far as improvement, everybody's going to be able to leverage that. So any other question? Arif, if I'm pronouncing your name correct, you raise your hand. So go ahead. What's the question? Maybe you had a question a long time ago that you forgot. We're just trying to wrap it up. It's an hour and a half.
Hey, Mo. It's Angela. My question, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Just wondered, what's your conversion rate right now?
On the ones that we're doing is about 4% on the recruiting ads, which is, if you compare to direct mail, is about less than 1%. And I'm over 10% on the financial workshops.
Okay, great.
For some reason, but I think the story we're learning right now, even with the campaigns we're running for recruiting, we're learning a lot of things as far as how the story is supposed to be told and written, and the elements and the offer and everything that needs to be there. So we are working on the October funnels that will be better than the ones we have right now. But here's the thing, guys. We need to not wait for those, because I say they're going to be better because we have more data. But if we all just start using it, posting these things and driving traffic, we're going to have even more data and make them even more, I like to say more better than we anticipate right now. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's important that we put these things out there. But those are the conversion rates right now.
Okay, super. Thank you.
All right. Our new and learning, Robert. Okay. So guys, it's 2:38. I know I said on that invitation to this training that it was going to be about an hour and a half. We just arrived at that time, a little 8 minutes past. So if anybody has a question, I'm going to be here for a few more minutes. There's going to be more training, a little bit more advanced training, I should say. But let me know, at least, because I want to know. I want to know how I did for you guys. I'm here to help in any way I can. I'm committed to making this work for everybody. So I don't know. Give me a 1 if you liked it. 2 if you didn't like it, and it's good for me to know. And we'll
You did
have
great,
some.
Mauricio. It was awesome. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. So in your inbox, there'll be more invites to these trainings. I'd say at least twice a week we should do this for the next couple months. I think so, because there's a lot to learn. And now that we got the basics, that's how to activate the funnel, those things, then we can get into more ninja things, like a little bit more advanced stuff. And if we have a full hour just to talk about that would be phenomenal. So thanks for the zeros, Wanda. I don't know if that's like one what that is, but thanks everybody. Have an awesome day, have an awesome weekend. And probably, since it's Thursday, right? So we'll have training next week. We'll have a couple trainings next week. I have to talk to Lynn and see what are the best dates so that there's no conflict between other product providers training and what we want to do as far as Plato's concerned.
Mauricio, can I suggest something with the Plato, like the general training that you did? Could you, since there's more people coming in, could we do one with just advanced session of the
traffic?
Facebook traffic? Because I was expecting more of that detailed, like going into that more today.
Okay.
Because you did the basic stuff and on the last one as well. But I know everybody was not attending at that time. So maybe we can have like 2 different sessions, one for the beginners and one for just the traffic driving and getting into more details on that.
I promise you that. I promise you that. Next time we'll do some specific traffic and go really into the more advanced stuff. Okay, so we'll begin with that next week. How's that?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. So do me a favor, everybody, just before we actually end this meeting. Whatever funnels you activated, if you don't have a campaign running, I would suggest delete them. Let me show you how to do that and reactivate them. It's only going to take a few minutes. And the reason I want you to do that is because all the personalization of the emails was done successfully. So every funnel has those drip mail, the autoresponder. So what you want to do in funnels, you just want to go to this last option over here, this 3 dots over here, and then you want to delete, and you want to delete. You want to go and delete in 2 areas. You want to delete the funnel, but you also want to delete the autoresponder. You don't need to do it ever again. Just do it this one time, because the other funnels are going to be the new funnels. And then once we start having a bunch of them, we're going to have to put categories inside the template section. So once you delete the actual funnel and the autoresponders, then you could go back one last time and just go to your templates and activate the 1 or 2 funnels that you want to work with. My suggestions: get 1, just like Ricardo, or or 2 max if you're going to do like a recruiting one, and also you want to do a financial workshop. All right. So next training, which will be next week, we're going to talk advanced traffic driving strategies to fill your funnel, and that way you'll have a lot of people opting in for the opportunity or the workshop, because this traffic is the key. Traffic is the key, and get good traffic. So it gives me time to even prepare better and deliver you some good value, so that it's worth that time invested with us today. So thank you very much, everybody. Have an awesome week. Thank you so much for being for supporting this project, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.